Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now this may look like a car rant, but actually this is a very special video that we'll be covering today because today is my 100th video. 100 videos since I started the YouTube channel, and also our 200 subscriber special. We're at over 200 subscribers now, which is awesome. That's great. So let's get right into this video. Alright, so with our 100th video and 200 subscriber special, I figured we'd do something a little special today, you know? More than just a normal car rant or a car review, I wanted to talk about all of the cars I have owned ever. Now, I may only be 22, but I've managed to own 4 cars in that time, which is kind of ridiculous. But they were all really cool cars, and I liked all of them. And so I figured I'd make a video just kind of talking about all the different cars that I have owned. So let's get right into it. Now, the first car I've owned was a Ford. It was a 2012 Ford Focus Titanium. Here's some pictures of it here. Now, this is a freaking awesome car. I love this thing. My whole family loved this car. It was my dad's car, and then he gave it to me when I was able to have a car, and he got a Ford Focus ST. So he liked the Focus, he loved that Focus, and then he upgraded to an ST and gave me the Titanium. So the Titanium was pretty much the highest trim you could get. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was the highest trim you could get that wasn't an ST. So it was still a normal Focus. It had the 2-liter 4-cylinder, but it had a lot of really nice stuff in it. It had full leather seats, it had heated seats, and the best thing was this car had 5 heated seat settings, which is way too many heated seat settings, but I love it. It was these little dials, and if you didn't want 4, you could always go to 3. If 3 was too hot, you could do 2. It was kind of ridiculous, but they were great. I loved having that car. Another fantastic luxury feature that this thing had: rain sensing windshield wipers. Now, I wouldn't shut up about these. Me and my dad both loved them. They worked so well because you would turn it on, like the rain sensing, you just turn it on, and then it would somehow measure how much water is on your windshield, and it would adjust the wiper speed accordingly. And it worked really good. That sounds like just some sort of gimmick that wouldn't do anything, but it worked really, really great. This is the only automatic car I ever owned. It had, I think it was a 6-speed, but it had some sort of weird like twin clutch system in it, and don't think dual clutch like you get like in a Bugatti. It was a garbage transmission, if I'm honest. The engine was nice, it was peppy, it was a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder. I'm not quite sure the exact specifications. The weakness of this car was definitely the transmission. It was clunky on a good day. You had a sport mode, which I vaguely remember, where you put it in S, and then you had like a switch, and you could hit up or down on it to switch between gears, right? Like it's like a paddle shift thing, except you'd hit up, and then maybe 10 minutes later it would decide to shift up. It was weird, and the transmission was the downfall of that car. We actually had to have it like rebuilt twice, where we were having transmission issues. We took it back to where we got it, and they like rebuilt the transmission, and then we got it back, and then more problems. Another issue was the cruise control just never worked. We could never get the cruise control to work. We took it to get serviced so many times, and the cruise control just never worked. But everything else worked really great. Like I said, it drove great. It was a great car to drive. Stereo was good. We had a screen in it that worked good. The heated seats were great. And one touch down windows, which is kind of a Ford Focus thing. The ST has that, where all the windows are one touch down. Had a great sunroof. It was just a really great car, and I really look back on that thing fondly. It handled great, and it was awesome. Unfortunately, though, that car was in an accident. I was driving home right before my birthday from school, and I was in a front end accident with it. I'm still not quite sure what happened. There was a turn, people were stopped to make a left turn, and I crashed into the back of them. And so the car had to be totaled, unfortunately. You know, we were hoping to keep it, but the frame was damaged, and it had to be totaled, which is a real shame. I still miss that car, to be honest. Even with the transmission issues, that car was great. And also, just look at it. This is the coolest looking Focus you can get that's not an ST. The wheels and the color combination is still the coolest Focus ever. Like, I mean, other than the ST and the RS, of course. A normal Focus, that thing was pretty cool. Really like that car, and I still kind of miss it, if I'm honest. The rain sensing wipers, dude, so cool. But after that, you know, I got some money for the insurance. I got to kind of choose, well, what car am I going to do next? And the next car, which has been on the channel, I started the channel after I got this car. The Focus I never made a video with, which is such a shame. Would have been cool to remember the car a bit and have sort of that video footage of it. My second car I own, though, I actually bought from where Alan worked at the time, Reedman Toll, there, which is Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, which is now Stellantis and all of that stuff. I bought a Dodge Dart. This was a 2014 Dodge Dart Rally. So the Rally was, I don't know, Dodge has so many trims with the Dart. It's kind of all over the place, and then it changes between years. Basically, it was the Dart beneath the top. Like the GT was the top, then you had the Rally, then you had everything else. And this was a really nice Dart. This had a lot of good stuff in it. It had the touchscreen in it, you know, and I made a whole video on this if you want some more details, but it was white and had sort of bronzy wheels on it. But it was great. It was a stick shift, which is awesome. You know, after I got the Focus, I learned to drive stick on my mom's Cruise, which I also have a video on. And I love it. I love driving stick. So I wanted a stick shift car. And I like Dodge. You know, Dodge is cool with all their craziness. And of course, Alan works for Dodge, so he can work on everything on it for me, despite any, you know, you always hear the stories of Dodge and their reliability issues with the Dart. I haven't really run into that, but maybe it's because Alan knows everything about him. But anyway, I got this car. It was a manual, and it had the 2.4 liter engine, which is the top of the line engine you could get in the Dart. And that made about 180 horsepower, I think. And anyway, with the manual transmission, which was a huge benefit and improvement over the Focus's clunky transmission, this car was a lot of fun. Now, both cars handled great. I think the Dart handles better than the Focus, just from my memory. But main thing was acceleration. The Dart had a big acceleration increase over the Focus, if not only for the transmission. It was really great, and I love this Dart. I'm going to say this was probably the coolest Dart in the world when I was done with it. So you got all the options in the interior, except the leather seats and the central screen you got in the GT. I didn't get those things, but I had the full screen. I had the coolest interior light where it goes around the dashboard. You get this red light that lights up at night. So cool. Had the backup camera. It had the dual exhaust put into the bumper. Really cool car. I loved that thing. Now, I have a bunch of stories with this car. I'm just going to sum it up a little bit. First off, I didn't like the plain white. That was really boring for me. So I got stripes on it. This was the first car I got stripes on. And that's when I first made my video, was when I got stripes on the car. Here's a picture of it without the stripes. Then I got stripes on it. I had this design in mind of a rally stripe because it's a Dodge Dart Rally. And they're also very similar to the stripes you got in the Dodge Viper ACR, which of course is an awesome car. We had the black thick stripe and then the red stripe on the driver's side, kind of centered over the car, and changed the look. It looked so cool after that. But I wanted a little bit more, and I wanted black wheels. I liked the bronze wheels, and they were fine with the plain white, but now that I got the black stripe on it and all the black trim on the car, I really wanted black wheels to make it look that much cooler. So I plasti dipped them. I took all the wheels off myself. I plasti dipped them myself, you know, sprayed them all over there, put the tape on the tires, and I had black wheels. And again, I gotta say, this transformed the look of the car. It looked so much more like premium with the new stripes on the car. Super cool, and the black wheels. One story with this Dart, actually. So the shifter ball I got, this was a used car, obviously, when I bought it, was chipping. And this actually happened with my other car I'll talk about. But the front of it was chipping to the point where when you were shifting, if you grabbed it right, it would paper cut your finger because it was chipping and it was just right at the right thing. And that was driving me crazy. So I looked to get some aftermarket shifters. And in fact, I still have them here. This is one of the aftermarket shifters that I got. Carbon fiber, and it was sort of a fit everything shifter, right? So you took the shifter ball off, you put this rubber cap, it's stuck in there. You put the rubber cap on the screw, and then you slot this on. So it's universal shifter, right? So what happened with this thing is it actually was supposed to light up in the top too, but that broke almost immediately. And it's not real carbon fiber. But what happened was I was at school. Everything happens at school. My school is about 45 minutes from here, from where I live, and I commute. So I was at school. I got something from Wawa, I think. I got a milkshake from Wawa. And I was driving back, and it was feeling a little loose. I'm like, oh, that's a little interesting. Maybe I need to tighten it. Well, as I shifted forward, it totally broke off. The whole rubber piece broke off on the shifter, and I was stuck at school with just the little nub of the shifter. And I drove all the way home like that. I drove home just moving the nub into the gears, which was certainly an experience. And so after that, we're like, well, we need a new shifter now, right? So I think what happened was we actually broke the stick So I have that as well. I like to keep all these parts. This is the shifter stick that came in, dusty, that came in my 2014 Dodge Dart, right? So this is the ball, this is where you would drive it. Now, I don't know if you can see, I might have to get a picture of this, but the screw at the end, right? This is the shifter, this is where the screw is, you screw the ball on, it's broken off. I remember now, when we were trying to take the shifter ball off, it actually snapped the screw. It was my fault, I was doing it, but I snapped the screw, which is why we tried to go with the universal thing to try and put it on there. So the issue was, we can't just put another ball on here because the screw is broken off. So we ended up getting a whole new assembly for it. We got a short throw shifter. It was about 30% shorter throw or something like that. And so I got a short throw shifter. It was a lot shorter and it was real like quick shifting, so I could be like speed shifting with it. And I love that car. And in fact, it was last Christmas now. We bought new wheels for it because I love the Plasti Dip. I did. But it didn't look that good. And it was really starting to fade and you couldn't wash the Plasti Dip or else the Plasti Dip would come off and then it would just look terrible. So the only thing I had to do was either get new wheels or take the Plasti Dip off myself and then respray them, which, you know, doing that every year just sounds like a pain. So for my Christmas list, I got new wheels, the new 18-inch GT wheels, which are fantastic. They look really good. They're higher profile. They're also wider, so you can get bigger tires on it. And if I got that Dart with the stripes, with the black wheels, would have been the coolest Dart in the world. Would have been so awesome. With the short throw shifter as well. However, driving home from Bible study, it was me and my sister. We were going some back roads here. Hit a deer. Yeah. I was driving like 50 miles an hour on this road and it just launched itself in front of my car and you know, totally beat up the front of my Dart. It was very sad. Now this is before we put the wheels on it. And so we were like, okay, it's not that bad damage, right? I hit this deer and I actually drove the car home. The headlights still worked. The turn signals, everything still worked. I think one fog light was out. Like that was the only damage, but it totally crunched up the fender. But I thought the car was fine. I was like, okay, we'll take it to the insurance company. They'll take it somewhere. They'll fix it up. I'll get my stripes put back on the front bumper and it'll be fine. It'll be good. No, the insurance company said it would be more money to fix it than it would be to scrap it and get the money back or whatever, however they determine that. So they wanted to total that car as well. And that sucked. That really sucked because I loved that car. I loved that Dart. It was so awesome, so cool to drive. And I feel like there wouldn't be another one like it, you know? Especially with my stripes on there. The whole process to get a salvaged car back to a non-salvaged title is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to the point where you have to keep the receipt and take a picture of every single part you buy for the car and prove that it's a like certified part, and then I don't know, you have to get a certified person to do it and all this documentary, and it just wasn't feasible, especially for me to do while I'm in college. And for as much as I love that car, it is a Dart, you know, it's not like it's a super rare car. But man, that really, really sucked. Thankfully though, we didn't put the wheels on it yet. So I still had these GT wheels. So it's like, well, okay, I got, again, money from the insurance. What am I gonna do now, right? I have these Dart wheels, so where am I gonna go with this? I did at that time really consider getting a Fiesta ST, but I just couldn't afford one. They were too expensive for me, but that would have been really cool to have. So I went with another Dart, actually, which moves me on to my third car, my 2016 Dodge Dart Sxt. And so this is it, my current daily driver, my 2016 Dodge Dart Sxt. Now, this car I got, obviously, as I said, after the rally with the money I got from the car. And so the Sxt is sort of a step down as far as trim level from the rally. So I got a few less things. If you look at the original picture, when I got the car, it had these different kind of very base looking wheels, skinnier tires, and just sort of the base feel, you know, of a Dart. It's like, this is the lower level car. So this came with just, in general, a lot less options. The main thing, I don't have the screen in the car anymore. Again, I made a whole breakdown video of this for more details, but I didn't have the screen, didn't have the backup camera. I had the smaller engine. This is a 2-liter engine as opposed to the 2.4. Made about 20 less horsepower and a bit less torque. But I got it because I just really like the Dart. And as I said, I already had these 18-inch GT wheels. So I might as well get another Dart to put them on something. But in general, I just really like the Dart and the driving experience. I think they look good, they drive great with the manual, they handle great, and you can fit a lot of stuff in it. Like they're just great all-around cars. And I do not regret getting this one at all. This is a 2016, like I said, so it's 2 years newer, and it had a lot less miles on it. It's newer, and even with the less options, again, like I said, I'm here for the driving experience. So, since I got this Dart, I've done quite a few things to it. When you first saw it, I think I made a video when I first bought it, and there's no changes to it at all. But I've done some more things to it. For one, of course, I put my 18-inch wheels on here, which added a huge amount to the car. It already looks so much better with these wheels. They fill out the arches, they're a lot wider. And these are actually the same tires that we put on my dad's ST, so you get a lot more grip as well. With the smaller engine, it's a little less powerful, and you definitely feel that. You feel the lack of torque. But the main thing is, I drive this to school every day. I get at least 31 miles per gallon. I've gotten as good as 36, maybe even 38 the one time I was driving it. It's really fuel efficient compared to my 2.4, the Tiger Shark engine in my white Dart. I didn't get over 28 miles per gallon in that car. I got 30 once, and only when I tried really, really hard. So there's that benefit. But as far as customization, now you guys haven't seen this actually, but I got my roof blacked out, along with my mirrors, just to add sort of a premium feel to it. Now, on my white Dart, I got stripes. I thought they went really good with the white and the black, but with the red Dart, I went back and forth for a long time. I thought, maybe I'll do stripes. I thought about white twin stripes, or sort of the inverse, where I did black and white rally stripes as my other Dart. I ultimately went with the black roof. Just because I feel like it complements the car a whole bunch, especially with the black wheels. Go with the black roof, I got black mirrors on it, just to make it feel a lot more premium. You know, it's not trying too hard with stripes and crazy stuff going on, but I feel like the black roof just adds a premium feel to it and really ties in the whole look of the car. But with that, I had one more thing in mind, which is this, my spoiler I put on the back here. This is not a factory spoiler. It didn't come with anything on here. You know, but I considered this with my white Dart. Ultimately, I didn't go with it because I thought the stripes just looked really good. But with the black roof, the black wheels, the black mirrors, I feel like I needed something here. And so I went with this little fin. It's nice and subtle. We just taped it on. That sounds really janky, but it's like this special adhesive tape that goes on here. It's not coming off, and we put a lot on, but it's not drilled into the trunk. And I just think it adds, again, sort of a premium feel to the Dart and make it less of a base model. You know, here you can see it's just attached to the trunk, just on there. But yeah, just adding that feel to the car. Another modification we made to this car to, again, sort of boost the coolness of the SXT is added our rear racetrack lights. So these used to be just reflective. When you get the SXT, it's not the full lights like it was in the Rally. It's just your side lights. I mean, come on. You gotta have it light up, right? So Alan got me the new set, and these are all lit up now. There's actually a conversion kit you can get, slaps right in there, plug it in, and there you go, all lit up now. So that's my current daily driver. I love this thing, I really do. You know, as far as options, like I said, it is a little step down from the Rally, but I love the buttons. The climate control buttons replacing the screen are honestly kind of worth it. So that's my current daily driver and some of the modifications I made to it. Now, of course, you who follow my channel probably know what my other car is, my 1987 Pontiac Fiero Gt. And so this is my fourth car, or currently my second car, of course, my Pontiac Fiero, the main attraction to my channel. So I got this car for a few reasons. One, I love 80s cars. I think they're the coolest things. I love that era of car making, because as I said in my Fiero video, it's retro enough that it's really cool, and you got a lot of mechanical stuff in it that you just don't get today, like pop-up headlights, but it's modern enough that you can drive it fairly regularly, and you don't have to worry too much about stuff going wrong. It's like when cars were first becoming modern, but it's old enough that it's just so cool. I also just love how they look. I love the style of 80s cars. And so I was researching the Fiero because, for one, it's one of the very few, if not the only, American cars you can get that's mid-engined, that's affordable. You know, you think of other cars, well, first off, you've noticed that all of my cars are American. Pretty much all the cars that my family own are American. I just like American cars. I prefer them. I think they're great. But I also love mid-engine cars. If you follow my channel for a while, you know I love supercars. They're so neat, and just I love the non-conventional design of the mid-engine layout. It places performance above everything else, and I love that. It's so cool, and just having a car that's mid-engine with the engine in the center is so neat to me. So that narrows it down to very few cars. If I want a car that's mid-engine, I want a car from the 80s, and I want an American car, and literally that's the Fiero and pretty much nothing else. I mean, unless you want a DeLorean, but those are way too expensive. They go for like $40,000 for a DeLorean, and honestly, I think the Fiero looks cooler, and other than the gull-wing doors, it's kind of, I don't know, I prefer the Fiero, plus I have pop-up headlights, you know, which you don't get in the DeLorean. This actually has a few more horsepower too. But I was researching them, and of course you can get the different types of the Fiero. You get the 4-cylinder, the early ones, the real cheap ones, or you get the nicer ones like this, the GT with the V6 and the manual. And I'm like, I can actually afford one of these. This is an attainable car that's mid-engine, it's retro 80s, it has pop-up headlights, it's everything together, and it's honestly one of my dream cars. And I was researching it for a long time. I got some money from my grandma then, and I was researching cars, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a Pontiac Fiero, it's a GT, it's an 87, it's a V6, it's a 5-speed manual, and it's only like an hour from here, and I can afford it. Again, this was a bargain when I found this. Fieros now, I'm looking for them, the same thing, V6 GT manual, they go for like $12,000, $13,000. I got this for significantly less than that. And so I went up there, the very chance I could get. I drove up there, we were looking at it, and everything looked great on it. And so, you know, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this car. So I bought a Pontiac Fiero, and no regrets at all. This car has been everything I've wanted it to be. I know the Fiero gets kind of a bad rep as sort of a failed car, but by the time you get this one with the body kit on it, I think it looks so cool. The V6 engine is fantastic. I know all you people in the comments and a lot of the Fiero people are like, swap out the engine, put in a supercharged engine. I like it how it is personally. I like stock factory cars, and I really liked this V6, especially if you watch my latest Fiero video. I just had a bunch of work done to it with redone suspension, new steering box, catalytic converter delete, and a whole bunch of, you know, new spark plugs, new gaskets, new intake, stuff like that, and it's just running so good. Honestly, I just want to leave it how it is. I prefer a stock car, and this thing's just awesome. It's really lived up to all I wanted it to be. All right, so that wraps up all 4 cars that I've owned for my special, my 100th video. Thank you to all 205 subscribers who subscribed. That's awesome. I'm sure you've watched all of my videos. But yeah, maybe I'll do the same thing for my 200th video, though hopefully I won't have crashed any more cars by then. But yeah, I'm very fortunate to own 2 really awesome cars right now. My Dart, like I said, is the best daily driver, and then I have the coolest weekend car. I get to take out all the time and drive my Fiero, so that's awesome. I'm definitely blessed to have these cars, and it's awesome I got a YouTube channel too. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you later.